Alright guys, be back with more weekly content. So first things first, quick little thing here. This is just like a previous video, a little touch up. This is the lighting I did on the castle build. But besides that, we are in the Nuka World Red Rocket. This is going to be the farm build. The first 5-ish minutes of this video is going to be building the farm. We did do some nice things. We are not done with this settlement like most settlements we are working on when it comes to our builds. None of them are completed. They are all work in progress. So there is plenty more to come to this. This will not only be a farm, but I figured I'd start by making the basis of the settlement being a large-scale farm. I have not went through and solved all the workers. I have not went through and done every little thing yet. However, I have done some nice little things. As you can see here, this is the little defense thing that I put up here. I put this up so that I could run turret-style lighting. One, because they do create more defense, even though we really don't need defenses on this settlement. I think we're guaranteed a win on any raid, even if we're not home. Like way past, we're like 900% chance of winning or something like that, because we only have 22 people and 1,000 cents. So, yeah. But, as you can see here, we just went through and added a bunch of crops, and this is sped up a lot more than what the rest of this video is, but I didn't want this to take up the entirety of the video. So the video is shorter than it was originally, but I still did a lot of showcasing of it. I like to play with the cinematic of the looks, which is how I was playing with the camera and such in the showcases that you'll see in a bit. And as you can see, I have the little Nukatron farm bots that I like to use on my farms just because they work the best. They zip around, they get the farming done. And I don't know how, they don't have any hands or nothing, but they don't get in the way either. It's lovely. It's just, if my farm hands just need to get the job done. I don't really care for people with robots that just need to get the job done. I'm gonna make a bunch more robots for the farm though, because a lot of this farm is not being farmed right now, and it would take an absolute forever amount of time to get any sort of settlers to actually get to all of these. And if I had to go through and assign a settler over and over, just piece by piece, I think I'd rather just go through and go row by row and assign a robot, make a new robot, assign a robot. But as you can see, this is just placing the light turrets up here, as you can see on the screen right now. And I like how this turned out. It wasn't the best, honestly. See, I did this entire thing before, this little light setup here. And I liked it a lot better the first time. I think I used a different, like, defense guard post area thing, and this is from the CVC mod that I always use for my workshop. I use so many different little assets from that mod. It is like a staple mod to me on the workshop mod for sure. Same with Place Everywhere, though. I don't know if Place Everywhere or Place Anywhere. I think those are two different things. I haven't really looked into that enough to find out if they're two different things or people just call them different things, or if they function as the same purpose or not. Anyway, so as you can see here, most of the lighting is done. The wiring was the most annoying part on this. I kept falling and having to jump back up, and for some reason I just didn't feel like using TCL. I was in my Nuka Quantum suit, and I just wanted to use the jetpack to get up there because I could, and I was doing fine with it for a good period of time, and then just out of nowhere I just couldn't get up there forever and ever. And I think it was just more of me trying to prove that I could do it to myself, more than just the fact that I didn't want to just hit the tilde TP and, type in TCL and just float up there real quick. But as you can see that we did finally get back up here. I think we still got a couple more times here. The wiring here took an absolute, way too long. As you can see once again. The wiring took way too long on this top floor. This was where most of the wiring was spent. I do believe after this we did touch up on some more lights just around the farm. We tried to make it to where most of the farm is illuminated. That is my main point, is to make sure most of the farm is illuminated. In my mind, the thought process of illuminating most of the farm is just so that at night, since this is originally a raider area where there's all sorts of raiders that go through here, we did break up the main leaders of the raiders in the Nuka world, in at least my Nuka world. So the raiders themselves aren't in Nuka world, the settlers are. However, the raiders are still about, and they do roam around the Commonwealth and Nuka world from time to time. So I figured, immersion-wise, you want to have lights in your farm so that you can keep an eye out with spotlights and everything. Keep an eye out and make sure that no one is taking your precious crops and stealing from you. Because it is a very large farm, and I figured it would be a very good idea to have, set up to where you can see all of your crops, so you can see if there's anyone in there trying to steal your stuff, because it is a very large farm, as I have it. So as you can see here, we are also putting down power pylons here. Now, I think... See, once again, this reminds me of the first time I built this. I used more turret lights, but I did like, I think I used turret stands that were like metal turret stands with like a pole with like a weird barrel shape with 2 holes cut out on both sides, and then I put like a turret on top of it, and a turret in the middle that was a light turret, you know. So, I liked that, but it didn't really do much lighting. These are powerless CDC street lamps, and while I could have used power and ran the lines, I think lines actually cause more FPS drop, and I don't want that. I do now have a card now, if you haven't noticed the graphics upgrade. We are running on ultra settings now, and the game does run a lot smoother now, much higher frames. But we were just about done here. We just ran through and ran the street lamps around, and then we're about to get on the showcase. I do believe, though, I might talk a little bit about it, but we're going to eventually just let it showcase out. So as you can see here, this is the start of the showcase. This is just the front of the area, as you can see, and then there's the top there. As you can see, we have a bus, a couple different buildings built up there. They're not decorated. We need to decorate some of the buses around the area. As you can see, the 900 defense comes from the laser turrets that surround the entirety of the camp. As you can see, it's just buses, cars, tires, pallets, bricks, all sorts of random different objects thrown together to create this wall around the Red Rocket. And I figured that worked really well for a gas station. And I used Nuka World buses and such. Things that would be at a Nuka World, like vehicles, so they were sedans and sports cars. I used a couple different types of cars, things like that, just to really try and immersify the fact that it is in Nuka World. I'm not sure how the boats got there, but I mean, they can move them in the Commonwealth with enough like monsters and ropes, I guess, so that's how they did it. But I do believe I am going to be out now and let y'all enjoy the rest of this showcase. I did like how it looked and played with the music up a little louder, but I am out, guys. See you. Keep it beast mode. I am out.